So the honest answer is that I got into track and field because I liked the girl from the team in primary school. Yeah.
Typical story.
Really? Yeah. Then I joined the team, and then she was a lot faster than me, so it
So
didn't
she
work
ran
out.
away from you. Hello everyone, welcome to the Open Book series where we delve into the financial secrets of all you Singapore people. My name is Jeremy and today we have with us Timothy.
Hi everyone. Thanks for having me.
Timothy, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm currently a practicing lawyer, and prior to that, in my previous career, I was a national athlete and Olympian. I did the 100 meter and 200 meter sprints. I guess also as a side gig, I do some social media content creation, and also I used to do some acting.
So which year were you at the Olympics?
I was in the Olympics in 2016 at Rio. Yeah,
How was that?
amazing experience. Yeah, I wish I could go to the Olympics once more, but
How was it being a spectator to the Olympics this year?
Oh wow, okay. It was actually the first time I watched the Olympics live. So
Okay.
prior to that, I've always watched on TV.
Yeah.
Paris was amazing. Like the Parisians, the European fans who were
Yeah.
there. Most of the fans were there. They were like super high energy. It was just like good vibes all around.
Okay guys, let's look at what submission 1 has for us. Timothy, can you please share with us?
Yeah, sure, happy to. Submission 1. My salary boost turned into financial stress. I recently got a promotion and a nice salary boost, which should have been exciting, but I'm feeling more stressed than ever. Instead of saving or investing the extra income, I found myself spending it without much thought. Dining out more, buying new clothes, and indulging in little luxuries. I feel this guy. I don't track my spending closely, so it's all adding up quickly and my finances are getting out of control.
I think we all know that feeling.
Most of my friends don't know, but I usually have $50 left in my bank account at the end of the month before my paycheck comes in. Wow, $50 is way too little, man. It's like $600 a year.
What do you think is the acceptable minimum amount to be worried about?
$50 is really worrying, man. I mean, wouldn't know how much this guy is actually earning.
Yeah.
But I would think that, maybe saving 50% or more of your salary is a good start.
On that note, what proportion of your salary do you put into, do you save, do you put away?
Personally, I think I put in about like 70% of my salary into a savings account, and the other 30 is for spending. So how I usually do it is that I have 2 separate bank accounts, and you need to be really disciplined about this.
Yeah.
So my salary is credited into my savings account,
Okay.
and every month I take out 30% of that and put it into a spending account, which is pegged to my credit cards and debit cards.
And how has this format worked for you?
It was a bit hard at the start because I wasn't used to this, because before you start work, you're just like taking allowance from your parents. You're just living day by day, week by week. You don't have enough money, you just ask more from your parents. Once you have a job and you start adulting, you're out there by yourself, right? You gotta earn your own keep. So at the start, it was a bit hard because I didn't know how much I had to spend
Yeah.
and how much I have to save. So I mean we all have friends that are a bit older than us, and parents give you advice on savings, and especially because we're from an Asian society, I think we're a bit more prudent with the saving. So I started this mechanism where I credit my salary into one account and I spend in another account. And so far it's been working out pretty good.
How did you come upon that format for you?
Oh, actually, some of my friends did it before.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's something new to a lot of people.
Okay.
You can read online. I think this is pretty common.
And how difficult or how easy is it for you to keep to your plan?
For now, it's become a habit.
Okay.
So it's really easy for me. And as you like the submitter for submission 1, as your salary grows, you have a higher spending power also.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can also afford a little bit more of those luxuries.
Yeah.
But you have to be sure, you need to divide. You need to be sure what are your needs and what are your wants.
Right.
Your needs comes first, and then if you have spare cash and you have extra cash in that spending account, you can go for little more luxuries in life, like clothes, new shoes, accessories, going out for holidays, these kind of things.
Yeah.
in terms of how much I value something and how much I'm willing to spend on it, it's a function of, how much it took me and how much effort it took me to earn it.
Right. Well, peer pressure can be a little hard to manage sometimes.
Yeah.
So, do you have any personal tips for our audience on how you might deal with peer pressure in terms of spending?
Think about how hard you work to earn this money, and is the purchase worth that amount of effort? Like, you worked your butt off for 2 weeks or 2 months for this, for a certain amount of money, and you spend it on a watch. Is it worth it? If the answer is yes, then yeah, go for it. Submission 2. Burnt out and looking for a change. I think we all been there, done that, huh?
Yeah.
I've been feeling really burnt out at work lately. The long hours and constant pressure are starting to wear me down, and I'm not sure if this is the right career for me anymore. I'm thinking about switching industries, but the idea of starting over is pretty overwhelming. I can imagine if I had to stop being a lawyer and do something else. I know I need to pick up some new skills to make the jump, but I have no clue where to start. And it's hard to imagine balancing my current job while trying to prep for something new.
So, have you ever been in a situation where you had to suddenly face the idea or concept of a career change?
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, right, I guess it might not be as relevant to this submitter, but before I started out as a lawyer, I was actually an athlete, and I was doing a lot of social media content creation and acting.
Okay.
So switching from that to becoming a lawyer is a totally different job scope, requires totally different skills, and you have to give up a big part of my life, which I had was very accustomed to for many years.
Right.
I was training since I was 8-9 years old.
What?
Yeah, and I was a competitive. I was in the national team since I was 16.
Okay.
So for me to retire from track and field and focus on being a full-time lawyer, that was a huge change for me.
Well, I can see parallels between being an athlete and being a lawyer. I think both require a lot of discipline, self-discipline. And was it something that you always had in you, or was it instilled in you by your family, or is it something that you felt you needed to master in order to achieve what you wanted to achieve?
Truth to be told, I personally feel I'm not the smartest guy. I'm not the most talented.
Modesty.
No. That's true. I don't have the best grades. But to me, I think what I feel stands out is my discipline.
Yeah.
And my decision making. Once I decide on something, I stick to it, and I persevere through it. So when it came to me to decide, should I continue athletics, continue being a sportsman or becoming a lawyer, I had to think long term.
Right.
My sportsman career can only last me maybe for another 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Although it brings me a lot of joy and enjoyment and fun, I love it so much. I definitely love it more than being a lawyer at that time.
What do you love about being an athlete?
Actually, this is a really interesting point. I'm a sprinter. I'm a 100 meter, 200 meter guy, but I actually don't like running.
Okay. So how did you get into that?
Okay. So the honest answer is that I got into track and field because I liked the girl from the team in primary school. Yeah.
Typical story.
Really? Yeah. So I joined the team, and then she was a lot faster than me, so
So she ran away from you.
Yeah, she ran away from me, but I stick to the sport because I told you, once I set my mind on something, I do it well. I was very disciplined. I think track and field and the sport really inculcated the concept of discipline to me, since young.
Yeah.
And track and field is a sport where there's no one you can rely on. It's just you yourself versus the clock.
I think mental strength is something that a lot of people don't know how to master. Do you have any tips on how to be strong in your decision like that, in terms of pursuing your interest or pursuing a goal?
Yeah, I think this is twofold. This whole discussion topic, I think the 2 points are that you need to be disciplined and you need to think long term. So, if you want to advance in your career, like the submitter, and maybe even change career, an obvious choice would be to go back to school, right? To take some new courses. And I understand that, juggling between a job and school is hard. But I think the more important thing is that, you have to let your boss know that, you are human. Maybe 5-10 years ago, it might be a bit taboo to talk to your boss about this kind of things.
Right.
Hey, I think I'm burnt out, like I'm tired. But I think now everybody is more open about talking about this and taking a step back. You know, if you already decided that, okay, maybe I do want to have a career switch,
Right.
it might be a better option to let your boss know, hey, I need a break, like I'm happy to work for you, but you know, I need some time for myself, and then use that time to improve yourself, take some new courses.
Right. Well, let's move on to submission 3. Timothy, can you share that with us, please?
Sure. Just graduated, now what?
Now what, indeed?
Confused, huh? I just graduated and expected to feel free, but now I'm overwhelmed. As I enter the real world, I'm not just facing a flood of decisions, but also worrying about earning enough money. I see peers landing jobs, continuing their studies, or starting businesses, and I'm anxious about how my income will measure up. I'm concerned that if I don't earn enough or make the right choices, I might struggle financially or fall behind. The pressure to get it all right and build a stable future is intense and daunting.
As a recent graduate yourself, what advice would you give this guy who's also a recent graduate, who perhaps has limited means in terms of savings?
Actually, I feel this guy because, you know, at the start when you first start working, you actually don't have much capital, you don't have much money. So if your limited means and the amount of cash you have, the limited savings you have, what I did was that, you know, I made sure that, you know, every month I invest into something. I invest a portion of my savings into something. And you have to be very disciplined about it because, you know, once you miss 1 month, you could very well miss the whole year because you forget about it.
Right.
So, you know, right now compared to, you know, I've seen my peers, you know, like insurance agents, real estate agents who are earning big bucks, earning so much more than me. And so it's natural to compare against them. But I feel that, you know, if I, you know, work hard and I stay in my line of work, it's not going to be easy. But I think that, you know, I'll eventually reach my goal. And in order to get there, also you know, it's important to be disciplined.
Right.
You know, in terms of your spending and your savings. Yeah.
Aside from discipline, what is one good investing habit that you would recommend? Or in terms of yourself, what have you embraced as one good investing habit?
Somebody taught me before was dollar cost averaging. So instead of putting in a big bucket of money at once, you put it in slowly. You know, could be daily trades, could be weekly trades.
As someone who invests often, you would benefit from an investing platform that has no hidden fees and perhaps a lot of free trades.
Yeah, that's important. You know, when I first started opening a stock brokerage account,
Right.
that was the first thing I looked for because as a fresh graduate or as a student, you're actually cost conscious, right? Because you only have that few hundred or few $1,000s that you want to invest in. And then these costs, hidden fees or transaction fees, they're all eating up to your investment amount, right?
I don't know if you know, but at CMC Invest, you can enjoy 45 free trades a month.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I had this like 5 years ago when I started out. It was really important to me that, you know, these kind of expenses and costs are minimal when I start out my investing journey.
Yeah.
Back to the point which I mentioned on dollar cost averaging, I think it's really good and important because, you know, you don't have to time the market.
Right.
And you don't have to put in a big bulk of your money in at once. You can slowly like disperse it, you know, on a daily or not daily, but maybe weekly basis. And, you know, with that 45 free trades as well, you don't have to worry about, you know, being limited. You know, 45 is actually quite a lot.
Yeah.
You have to be worried about being limited to like 5 or 10 trades only. You can do it throughout the whole month.
Okay. Well, that's great. Thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me. And just to caveat, I'm not the best financial advisor, but I think the most important is to be disciplined and have your long-term goals in mind.
Thank you very much for joining us today. CMC Invest is organizing a special giveaway. If you would like to find out more, please go to the Instagram page for more details. See you.
Bye.
For more details, please go on to CMC Invest Instagram page to find out more. I'll do that again. That sounds really bad.